Hello everyone, I'm Rich Lamont. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. So first I want to tell you, you guys may notice a little bit more noise in the background. I have a second oxygen machine now, so you'll hear those running a bit more. I know they are loud and I apologize, but it is something that's very necessary. So moving on to the fly, this is going to be the BOYD. I'm tying this for a friend in Northern Ireland. Now, I actually already tied this fly once, and the first video, for some reason, the first half, the audio cut out. I don't know what happened. The mic just, on the GoPro just died. I have a special, like a sports case for it, and for whatever reason, that mic just quit. So, I'm using just the raw mic right now. Hopefully this works a little bit better. I'll have a new mic, coming up this coming week, so not a huge deal. But if you're actually wondering, what I'm going to wind up doing here is I'm going to tie half of the fly and then kind of blend the two videos together. So you'll see the first half that this part here is going to be the first half. Hopefully it blends together well enough with the second half that you won't be able to tell the difference, that it's two hooks, two flies. I know, why don't I just go ahead and make the video and tie a whole new fly, but I need this hook for another project, but it's the same hook as in the other fly. So I'll be tying half of this fly. Once it's done, then I'll be tearing it apart. But anyway, let's get started. So this is a Byron Bjork hook. This is a Harrison Bartlett size 4.0. Here's his information. And you can also reach out to him on Facebook. Just find his name, and you can order hooks directly from him. Alright, so the tip and tag is some silver tinsel. So I'm starting with silver twist, and I'm going to tie that right up against where the gut ends. And you see I've already done the silk gut and tied that on as well. Now we're going to wrap this back and tie it in till we're about even with the barb valley. That's about good. And we'll come forward a few wraps. And then we'll do 3 turns of tinsel. And then we'll tie that off. Now after tying this off, we'll wrap and we'll tie all the way up back again until our thread is about even with the hook point. And then you can go ahead and snip away any excess tinsel. Technically it's supposed to be oval tinsel, but I like the twist. See a couple of stray thread fibers here. Now this fly is not typically tied as a mixed married wing, but I'm tying it that way. It's kind of, I guess you can call it a modern interpretation of it. The tag on this is a royal blue silk, so for that I'm using Ovale, the same stuff that's put off by 54 Dean Street. Now you don't need much of it, and this silk is actually it's like somewhere around a 5 strand. So when you cut it down, you take your sections and you can strip out two strands of the 5 to make it a little bit thinner, so you don't have such a thick butt on it if you don't want. So we're going to tie this in. This is only 2 strands of the 5. We'll tie this in, and then we're just going to go touching turns back until we get to the tinsel, and then we'll turn around and come back to the tie-in point. I don't like that. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there is a dark spot in there, and that's because the silk has kind of soaked up some of the oils from my hands. I thought my hands were clean enough, but seems not. So, I like to wash my hands, but just to save myself some time, I'm going to put on my gloves, and we'll do this again. Let me get my floss real quick. Tie that in. And then I'll get my gloves. So silk gloves, you can find, they're just silk glove liners. You can find these on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. I think they were under 20 bucks. But if you've got dirty hands or you're a worker and you have rough hands, these are great. Okay, so now touching turns. And we're going to go past the tie-in just a little bit. And what that'll do is that'll just leave a nice clean reveal when we add the butt later. Okay. So we can trim that away. And then we're going to tie, we're going to go back over that floss a little bit until our thread is about 1 millimeter or so behind that hook point. And then I'm going to use a burnisher just to smooth this out. And this is why I like using twist, is it burnishes out a little bit easier than oval does, and it stays nice and smooth. Okay, the next step is the tail. And the tail I've already chosen and trimmed, and all I did was just trim off a little bit of this fuzz at the bottom, and we're tying in right at the base of that white part of the feather. And if you want it to lay down a little bit more, just use your thumbnail to very gently work along the back of that. Then we can lay that on and tie that in. I'm happy with that. So then we can just tie the rest to the hook shank. The veilings for the tail are yellow and blue hackle tips. So I'm assuming that they mean hackle fiber tips. All the examples I found online, that's what they show, and that's what others have used. So that's just what I'm going to go for. So all we'll do is just strip off some little bits of hackle off of the feather, and I'll start by laying down some blue, loose wrap over, and then tight on the second wrap, and then we'll get some yellow and do the same. All I'm doing is just taking a little bit of it, standing them out straight like this. And by straightening them out straight, perpendicular to the stem, you're making sure they're the same length. So then we'll just take those and tie them in right on top of the blue. Same thing, loose wrap. And here we are. And the rest of these you can just trim down a little. Now at this point, I want to get a little bit of wax on the thread. Dropping stuff. And then we'll lay down a thin layer of thread with some wax just for the butt. And the butt is black ostrich herl. So we'll grab our plume and then select out a piece of herl. Once you've got your piece of herl, go down to the tip where it attaches to the plume, and you're going to strip that off just a little bit, about 1 millimeter or so, with your thumbnail. And that'll expose that quill. Now when you tie it on, you want the fuzzier side to be on top and the quill side to be on the bottom. Now after you've got it attached, take that herl, pull it towards you, forward, and then up. And that should orient it so that way you're ready to tie and wrap to get a nice tight herl butt. Do some touching turns, go 3, maybe 4. No, I don't like the 4th, so we'll stay with 3. Tie that on. Trim away the rest. Now the tinsel for the body is silver oval, so for that I'll be using Vivis. I'm going to use large Vivis. And what we'll do is strip away some of one of the ends, and you'll take that outer sheathing off, and what that does is exposes the silk that's at the core, and that gives you a softer tie-in material, which will then also help you with a less of a lump where you tie in your tinsel. So now you want to tie that in on the underside, quartering away, give or take about the 5 or 5:30 position. Yes, my thread broke. That time it broke inside the bobbin. Alright. I was saying the quartering away position about 5 or 5:30. Sorry about that. So we'll set this up here. The dubbing for this is a yellow seal's fur. So I'm going to be using Feathers MC Canary Yellow seal's fur. And then when you dub this on, I always dub in the clockwise or counterclockwise direction. You can do it whichever direction you like, but make sure you always go in the same direction. You can also use any kind of a dubbing wax or cobbler's wax if you want. I find saliva works well if you need it. A lot of times I don't use anything, but any of those are usable. And now this yellow dubbing goes for the first third of the fly, which is about to the end of your second tinsel wrap. We'll wrap a little more here, and then we'll do a little check. And what we'll do is just use our tinsel and make a couple of wraps and see if we have enough here. I think we're going to need a little bit more. Just a hair more. No pun intended. Okay, so next we'll be grabbing, getting the blue hackle, and then the blue seal's fur, and continuing on from here. Let me grab my hackle and be back with you. Alright, I think I've got a winner. Alright, so now you can see here we've got a nice decent taper and it's not too terribly long. I think this is going to work pretty well. So we'll take this one and we'll go right down into the tip here. Expose that tip, and we're going to tie that in right on the very top of the fly. And that way, when our second wrap of tinsel comes around, this will just pick up right with that second wrap of tinsel. Tie that to the body of the fly. Okay, now we can move on to the blue seal's fur, which is a royal blue. Again, from Feathers MC. And then we'll just wrap this even all the way up the fly until we get to the front here. If you find your dubbing's not really sticking or it's not twisting right, you can just lick your fingers a little bit, and right when your fingers get to that little bit of a tacky stage is about perfect for dubbing your seal's fur. Alright, that looks very nice. So next we'll take the tinsel and we're going to bring that up. Into our first wrap. And then our second, which will cross right there. Beautiful. And we'll shorten this up just a little. And then we'll grab our hackle. And we're going to orient this so that way the inside of the hackle plume, which as you can see by the curvature of it, we want the inside facing the back of the fly. And then as you wrap, as you turn and wrap it, tuck it in right behind that tinsel. So it goes right into that, right in behind that oval tinsel. It should tuck right up underneath that. And if you sweep it all back like this, palmering your hackle back, you should have a nice sweeping effect to it, so it's all flowing backwards nicely. And then I'm just going to pluck away some of these fibers here. Give myself a nice little tie off. That way it's nice and neat, we're not trapping any fibers. This blue hackle, by the way, is a saddle hackle from Feathers MC. And now you can go ahead and trim away the rest of this tinsel with scissors that are actually sharp. I just use my junk scissors, and as you can see, they are getting worse. So now the throat is a dyed blue guinea hen feather. So I have some dyed blue. These are from Hairline. I do have a guinea skin, and I pull some off on occasion to dye, but this way you get a pretty decent assortment of some rather nice guinea hackle feathers. That's going to be too long. So now you want to size it up so that way your guinea hackle matches the length of this very longest part of your saddle. So you kind of have to sort through your packet of guinea hackle feathers, or your skin if you've got a skin. Guinea skins don't really cost all that much. You can get them for 20 or 30 bucks. And you get a whole lot on the skin, so well worth it. Let's see what we've got here. And that's going to be close, but still a hair too long. This one is, I think, better. But that might do well. Let's try it. Worst case scenario, we have to go back and do something different. Okay, so to prepare it, We'll just strip all the fluff off the bottom, and then we'll go up into the tip here and pull all these feather fibers back. Now you'll get a really good idea of how long it's going to be at its longest. So at its longest, it's going to be a bit longer than that blue, than that saddle. It may look okay though. So first we tie in. Fold that part back to lock it down. Trim off the excess. And then just like you're doing with your hackle, palmer it back as you wrap it. And you want these turns to be nice, tight, touching turns. Just a little bit of folding going on. There we go. And we'll tie that off. And then we'll take a look. And that actually is spot on. That's just how I want it. Okay. So we can trim away the rest of this then. And now you want to kind of build this up a little bit right here in front of this guinea, so that way you're building up a little bit of a base for your tippets to tie in on your underwing. Oh, there goes some guinea feathers. I have to play feather pick up here. Be right back. Okay, for the tippets, I've got a pair selected out here, and I'm going to line the barring up with the butt, as I like the way that looks a little bit better. I think that just looks symmetrical. It looks a little bit neater. So now we'll line it up and figure out about where our tie-in is going to be. It looks to be about here. So we'll start removing anything that's in the way right there, and then we'll remove some of these fibers from the underside that don't have any bars on them. And as you can see, some of them are just kind of wispy, and there's a few right here that actually are missing most of the material, so we'll just get rid of those. Make sure that's lined up. And I just tied it loosely and then made a little bit of a kink in there so that way I kind of know where it's at. Alright, and you see how that's popped up like that? That's being pushed up a little right here by where the hackle is, like a small little hump there. So what you can do is, now you know where your tie-in is, so just in front of your tie-in, or behind your tie-in I should say, you can use your thumbnail and kink it just a little bit, and that'll create a little Z-bend that will help lower the back end of the feather. See? And if it's not enough, you can just kink it a little bit more. And then you can tie it back on. And usually that's enough to get it right into place where you want it. All right. Now we've got our underwings on. We can go ahead and tie in our wings. The wings are yellow and blue turkey and Cory bustard. The pattern calls for yellow and blue goose. Being this is a larger fly, I wanted to use turkey to kind of get the most out of the wing and make it as pretty much as large as I could, or as thick as I could. And with goose, I just wasn't going to be able to get the length out of it that I really wanted with this fly. Alright, so I'm just lining up these wings here, making sure the angle on the end is correct, and I married these up off camera. Sorry, I didn't get to actually record that part, but I do have lots of videos showing the process of marrying wings. I even do have a video on marrying wings. So if you're interested in how I do it, you can go ahead and check those videos out. I'll find one of them and leave it in the description below for you. Just trim those out of the way a little so they're not so big. Now we can take the rest of our wing, set it right over the top, and if it comes through the top of the wing, that's okay. You lick your fingers and stroke that down a little bit. That'll help kind of lower it, or you can trim the top. That's a modern method. It's not something that was typically done. Or you can leave them poking out the top of the wing. I personally don't like that look, but bear with me on that. Alright, so now we're going to be mounting the wing. And then just take your wings, lay them back to back. It should leave like a little bit of a slit in between, and you can just slide the tippets between them. Sorry if they stick up through like that. Now you want to line your wing up. Well, I'm lining my wing up with the tip of the tail. See how the tip of the wing also matches the angle of the tail? I like that to be tucked in just like that. And then we'll take the wing and kind of help collapse it just a little. And bring the thread up over the top and just let it hang. And then we'll pinch this just a little bit and kind of help that thread create that little fold. And we'll do a second wrap, make any necessary adjustments. Now as you pull a little bit tighter, it may roll a little. So you can just take your fingers and roll it back towards you. 3, 4, 5. And let's have a look and see what our fly looks like. one thing I'm seeing right away, my two wings are not staying lined up together. Also have a separation and collapse right there on the other side, which could be why they're not sitting quite right. So we'll just undo these. I'm also going to take my tweezers and just adjust where those tippets are. Maybe try and get some of these throat fibers out of the way. Guys, stop. No. Tighten. Get away from the door. So let's try that again. Okay, now let's see where we're at with this piece of bustard. And we have a fold right here in the front. Oh boy, these wings just want to be complicated. Okay, so now we'll start collapsing it again. Make the initial wrap. And then follow the same process of tightening a little, working it back, tightening, working it back. Okay, and that's one side, and the other is flared out real bad. I'm not sure where that flare is coming from. Oh boy. That rear wing was starting to really come apart. You guys just might get to see me marry a set of these up. These are getting so beat up now that soon they're going to need to be replaced. Alright, by laying them down, I don't think it's the wing material. And it's this right here. The tippets. Okay, let's see. Already. Okay. Again. Okay. I think we got it. Alright, next step is the jungle cock cheeks. Got my jungle cock pieces here. And we're going to line those up. Yeah, so I like the black band, and I want the black band to be kind of at the transition between yellow and blue. So we'll strip everything south of the longest here. And apply that on. I see how that's being pushed out a little bit. Change that a little. That's just a hackle. And get rid of a couple of these hackle fibers here. There we go. And then a nice loose wrap. To prevent them from rolling, when you attach them, you can use a pair of flat nose pliers and just flatten the stalk. Flatten that stem right there. That should help prevent them from kind of rolling on you. And then we'll take the other feather, the other jungle cockeye, and do the same. And then we'll just tie that one in the same place. On the far side, you got to do 2 wraps, otherwise when you rotate your vise back to its original position, you might wind up with that coming out. Okay, that's good. I'm going to take care of this. These lower feathers, feather fibers, don't particularly want to be a part of this. You want to ride up higher on the feather. You're messing up the look of the fly. Well, that can be dealt with, but I don't particularly want to do it. I'd have to pretty much trim those lower barbels, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave it as it is. I might trim these upper ones a little bit, but alright, next step is the bronze mallard, which I've already prepared. All you do really is just find where you're going to use your bronze mallard, trim the stem off at that point, and then strip off any of that fluff on the opposite side of what you're not using. This year, as you can see, these tips are a little bit messed up, so I won't be using that. I'll be using this here, so what I'll do then is just go in and cut off a nice little swath of that. Trim that off, I guess. And then we'll do the same on the other feather. Okay, now you have your two bronze mallard pieces that look like this. You'll take them and line them up with the shortest first, or the shortest sides touching, which should make a V like that. Hold on, I'm going to go through and just trim away some of this so it's not in the way. Just a little at a time. Try going in and take big chunks, then you cut things you're not supposed to, or you shift. Okay. Now we'll take these, put them together so those front edges are touching. Come on now. Take them so they're touching like that. Lay them over the bend of the front of the wing, and then you can pinch them to the sides just like this. Make sure that both of these are on their respective sides of the eye. Make a loose wrap over it and just let that gently pull tight. Add a little pressure, a little more on the third wrap. Near side wasn't where it was supposed to be. Alright, let's try again. A loose wrap. Make sure they're on their respective sides. Nope, not happy with that either. Oh, that's really bad. Nope. I'm going to thin those down just a little. See if that'll help them kind of sit in there a little better. I think that looks much better, except the jungle cock shifted right here. I was happy with it. Nope. I think I like that better. Alright, throw a little clear stuff on there. I'll give that a minute and I'll be back. Alright folks, well as you can see, it's about ready to go. This does not have a horns or anything, so we can just put a topping on it and go ahead and work on the head. So I've chosen a topping for it, which needs very little work. Here's the topping here, and I've bent it a little bit right here just to kind of give it a little bit of shape to get over the top of that this little forehead, if you will. Let's see. Oh, this topping might be too small. Possibly just too short. Oh, maybe not. I kind of like that. Alright, this will be it. There it is. Okay. Now we can take a fresh razor blade and we will just shave this off right here. Try not to cut the thread and really try not to cut the iron. This new blade should make easy work of that. Oh, and there we go. Just tap the thread. Is that right? Here we are. All is forgiven. Now we'll just heat up our wax ball a little bit and just apply some wax to this head. And then on the last one we'll do is just a quick wood finish. And we'll do that right up along the throat and the wing. Keep that nice and high up out of the way. Trim away the thread. And you've got a little bit of wax on there. And I'll hold it all there. If you've got enough of it on there, you can use your thumbnail a little bit to kind of form your head a little bit. Do a little bit of quick preening. And then we'll go ahead and add some Salmon to it. Apologies for the muffled sound. I'm putting on my breather, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So first I'm going with Salmon clear, so that way when I put the black on, it doesn't leach. The clear will leach if it's going to, which it did. And then when it dries, we won't see it. If the black leaches, whether it be into the gut or into the hackle, it'll be noticed very badly. So putting the clear on and allowing that to dry will allow us to apply black and not have to worry about it ruining the look of the fly. And here you are, ladies and gentlemen, the Megan BOYD, a slightly modern interpretation of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you know, I'm doing the right things. You guys enjoy the content. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. That really helps out the channel. And also, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a big giveaway. I will be releasing the details of that giveaway soon. There'll be lots of materials involved, lots of different hooks. And there's a giveaway tonight, 7 p.m. I will be giving away the Kate Fly kit. So, if you're entered for the drawing, good luck. If you're not entered, still got a few hours left. Go to the video that is labeled the Kate Fly giveaway. Get your name on that list, be a subscriber, and you will be entered for the giveaway. Runner-up will be winning a Byron Bjork blind eye hook. That being said, have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you tonight in the giveaway, and then I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.